First and foremost, I want to say there's really no way around the situation, right? So if you PC up, you're leaving the gang life completely. Whether it is you found Christ, you don't want to politic, whether it is you got crossed up in politics, I'm talking about power struggles. I'm talking about anything from getting caught with a kite, anything from getting caught, maybe losing some money, maybe doing something, not paying taxes on some things that you might be bringing into the pen. For whatever the situation is, maybe it could be anything from even speaking on the wrong person. And now you kind of in this little thing where you getting pushed out the circle and you no longer popular type of little vibe. Or it could be you owing a dope debt and you ain't got the money, but you got a habit. So you went ahead and took it, but you ain't got the money to pay for it. So now you in some hot water. So what you do, you take off. Listen, there's no way around the situation, okay? So if you PC up, you got to understand this very simple concept. You are not going to protective custody to be a gang member. You are not joining protective custody and that lifestyle, sensitive knee yard, to become a gang member. Now, don't get it twisted. Protective custody yards, you cannot stop the flow of prison. You cannot stop the way the world in there works. It's a whole world, and it's not defined by a chain link gate. It's not defined by this side, top yard, lower yard. Prison is prison no matter how you spin it. You put a bunch of men together that break themselves up racially. This is something that us human beings do off top, subconsciously. You put us PC, GP, it don't matter. Blacks will go blacks, whites will go whites, brown will go brown, everyone will go everyone that need to go. That's just the way it's going to go. That's the natural law of attraction through the relatability, us being able to relate culturally, by music, by any other way, form, or fashion, growing up with the same lingo, same swag, same talking. You're just naturally going to flock towards the people that you're most likely to be inclined to. Culturally, that's just the way the game goes. That's how it goes. We don't have comfort in prison. So any little slice of comfort that you're given, you're going to take advantage of that. And guess what? There is always going to be comfort in seeing people that you can relate to. So no, absolutely not. To answer your question before we start, why do gangs exist in protective custody? Because now that we know that the racial segregation is still there, you're still going to have that certain level of animosity, supremacy from everybody. But the gangs exist because it's all about law and order. It's all about that in Spanish, they call it canalismo, brotherhood, in other words, right? So if you go to war, you down to ride with somebody, over time, you live with that same person for weeks, months, hell, even sometimes years, and y'all got each other's back. And next thing you know, it's a gang of y'all from, let's just say, the LA area that are dropouts, that dropped out from that side. But y'all have already had each other's back against other ethnic groups, or y'all have already had each other's back against a car that's from, let's say, San Francisco or San Jose or Orange County boys. Next thing you know, you start thinking of a cool little name to call yourselves. You see, no one's going from general population into protective custody thinking I need to join a gang. What exactly is happening is people are going and they are being manipulated by the prison world. They're falling right into the same cycle, not even knowing it. So when they join these gangs, I'm speaking from experience, right? I'm not talking to you guys because I don't know what this is like. This is from somebody who dropped out and joined another, I call it a brotherhood, but you know what? In all honesty, it's just another gang. It's just another organization with its own systematical flaws and perks and quirks and all that shit. But the reason why this happens is because there's a cycle that takes place, whether it's general population, whether it's protective custody, whether you in the shoe, whether you in the hole. It's that natural law of attraction towards comfortability and relation. And when you relate to too many people at once and y'all are together, it's only a matter of time before you a gang anyways. Without the label, y'all roll together. Y'all send kites to each other. One goes to the hole. You keep in touch. Write each other. Hey, so what prison you going to? Oh, woo, the homies over there. Before you know it, the title and everything just comes last. And that comes from where we came from. That comes from a childhood of glorifying gang culture and putting names on clubs and anything you could think of having a name and a title. West side this, east side this, north side that. You know, I'm from this clique, this set. Everybody tacks that on to the top of the manipulation cycle, right? So I've seen every single race in protective custody start a gang so far. Every single race. As far, maybe if we want to pinpoint one, the others haven't necessarily started one that I knew of. There was like no other protective custody gang, but it's not a racial thing as much as it is on the general population. So it doesn't matter what race you are. You can join into whatever faction that you feel, brotherhood, faction, gang, whatever you want to call it, movement. It don't matter what the race is. That's the glory about being in protective custody is you can deal with any race. That little whole, and they have a reason on the general population why races don't intermingle. Like let's say black and brown, black and white. It keeps them going. It keeps that machine going, right? You can't be mad at the next person for having their own systematical approach on things, and everybody's okay. Every single color of the rainbow's fine with it. The brothers don't care. If you want to deal with it, we're going to deal with you. There ain't no rules to tell us we can't deal with y'all. That's how they look at it. But you go to protective custody, and it's like you a free man. You get to do whatever you want to do. You don't get to burn people and steal and do all that. But hey, it's the law of the land. So if you find somebody that's not affiliated, if you find somebody that's not clicked up and you want to do that, since you're in protective custody, guess what? You can do that. And ain't nobody going to tell you nothing unless it's just somebody like me who just don't get down like that. And I see you taking advantage of a good dude who don't got foul paperwork, ain't no big old rat. He just dropped out for whatever reasons and you taking advantage of him. I'm going to say something. You see, back to this topic before we get any deeper. Protective custody is obviously constantly and more so than not always attached to this coward vibe. Like you cowered out, you dropped out, you were afraid. Well, first off, hold on. I'm going to speak from experience, and this is the part that these people hate. They don't like to hear this because it's the truth. There's nothing they can do about it. I'm still a man. I'll still squabble. I don't know if they thought I was supposed to check that in when I checked in. That's the thing. No, you will not lose any of the man that you are if you PC up. If you go protective custody from general population, you do not lose the man that you once were. You might lose your rank. You might lose how your homies see you. You might lose all of those things. Yeah, that's cool. They could let them say what they want to say. I'm telling you from experience. I ain't turned down a fade since I've been out. And I've gotten a few fades since I've been out of the pen. And they ain't been with other PC inmates. They ain't been with inmates at all. They've been with free other civilized men. You see, when you carry yourself as a man, it doesn't matter what part of prison you in. Because society looks at GP and PC as both turds. If anything, protective custody gets a little edge because every now and then we get our hands on a chomo, which is a child molester or a rapist, and we the ones who take care of them and bring that justice to these families that couldn't get that. So we might have that edge. Now, how some people choose to go into protective custody is where I draw my distinction in lines. There's some who owe a dope debt and they go because they can't pay. I'm not okay with that. And matter of fact, whoever spread this misinformation that said I had a dope debt, bro, I didn't even touch none of that stuff around the age when I was active. I was new to all of that. I was a kid when I went into the system. I wasn't no old junkie tecato, dude. I didn't have no habit. And I damn sure wasn't no smoker on the streets. So I detest, not only am I not a part of that, but I detest people who actually dropped out because they took something knowing that they wasn't going to pay for it and then came to our side, protective custody, and then thought they was going to be cool. Nah, I used to always be against them dudes even hanging out with us, joining up, because that habit is just like the habit of joining into gangs, just like the habit of looking for family, just like the habit of feeling comfortable with relatability. It's another cycle vicious habit that ain't gonna break, just like the gang culture, the desire to label a group of y'all some kind of name and make bylaws and say we're gonna have each other's back. And I don't care if they call us names and PC and whatever, we'll embrace that. We ain't gonna turn down no fade because at the end of the day, no man is above what he does, right? You are dictated by your own actions. You're dictated by your own patterns, you're a movie. For anyone watching you, you're a movie. You're a book that could be read according to your own actions. Everybody's so quick to say you eat, you sleep, you live with chomos and rapists. First and foremost, coming from a level 4 180, they don't even touch them yards like that. And when they do, they get dealt with. It's like hot potato between all the gangs and factions. Who wants to get this? Who wants to? Everyone's like, hey, we'll get him. Nah, we got him. He's in our block. We'll take. Trust me. And for the ones who do slip and slide, because yes, it do happen, they disguise themselves well. They tat it up. They look like a gang member. Some of them got a sex charge from way back in the day. But I can promise you this, the ones who get got in the end, they get got up there on them level 4 180s. I promise. Yes, listen, no one's on a protective custody yard because we didn't go there to go monitor chomos. Just like y'all active GPs don't get out the pen because they don't put them with you in the pen. But I don't see y'all getting out the pen, going on Megan's Law or Amber Alert, whatever the hell it is, and looking for these people that live in your neighborhood and taking care and doing justice ever. Ever. We at least administer justice when we spot them and we find them. That's the way it is. I don't go out to day room. I don't go to yard looking at all the weirdo looking dudes like, hey, let me see your paperwork. No, but if you land in my cell, if you land anywhere in my vicinity and I know what time it is with you, we're going to take care of that. That's going to get taken care of. And the family out there is going to have justice delivered to them, unlike what you can do. So for people who say we sleep and eat, nah, we mind our own business. According to once you enter my personal space or if it becomes knowledge known to me, because I've had correctional officers literally be like, boom, we got someone rolling up. Okay, what you mean? He's about to get off the bus right now. Dude's a real turd. What you mean he's a real turd? Like, no, he's a turd. I'm going to slide you the paperwork you're going to see. Gets dealt with. Ain't nobody lavishly, lovely, sleep. Nah, as a matter of fact, gangs, factions, and brotherhoods these days got their own blocks. Some of them got their own yards where not only will they not throw sex offenders and weirdos, but they won't even throw other inmates that are from other gangs and factions that are all PC. You see, protective custody didn't almost hit full circle. However, these are the perks that still exist in protective custody that I feel like everybody should know about. I don't care. Wouldn't you like to be your own man? Go to school, go to vocations, not have to participate if you see a riot kicking off with a bunch of people who ain't even really your homie. They just happen to be your same skin color. Wouldn't you like to just know that your program can't be compromised, that you can just go to visit, see your girl, come back, watch your shows, chill? You know what I'm saying? If you hit something in the visiting room, if you bring something back, you don't got to give none to nobody. Isn't that kind of like being a man, what it is like on the streets, right? Not having to answer to nobody, not having to take someone with you every time you need to ask a question to the guard or ask the nurse for a medical slip. You don't got to take a homie with you and you don't got to be forced to do nobody's workouts. You could just work out because you want to. You see, the grass is very much greener. It's been greener on that side. And I don't care. I'm not here to convince you that it is or isn't. You are going to find it green where you stand, and that's perfectly fine. But there's some big misconceptions and misinformation I hope I covered for you in this video. Until next time.